Welcome to Java Basics Review, page 3. This is our third of 5. It's probably going to be one of the shortest ones we'll do. So we'll get right to it. Number 14. What identifies something as a class? We talked about a method. Let's look at a class. So classes, like methods, there's ways to distinguish it. Classes start with uppercase letters. We saw that when we saw the lowercase letters. So like math was written as uppercase. System is uppercase. These are classes. String is an uppercase. Integer is an uppercase. It indicates something as a class. We try and stick to these foundational setups in Java so that other programmers easily can tell the difference between a method and a class at quick glance. Question number 15. Write a line of code using the math class to find the square root of 81. So I'm just going to create a variable. That's as easy as I can think about it. So I'm going to make an int called num, for lack of a better thing. And I'm going to make it equal to whatever the square root of 81 is. To do that, I call the math class, which is a static class, which means I don't have to create an object. Dot, and square root is sqrt, which in class will have me say squirt because that's what it looks like. And then 81, that's our parameter. And that's as simple as that goes. Question number 16. What do you create using classes? So if you use a class, you create what's called an object. So that's an object. And that's as simple as this. So let's say I do an integer, because I did that before. Integer, I still can't spell integer. Integer num1 equals new. That's kind of a way to see that I'm creating an object, is that word new. That'll tell you every time. New integer. And I'll just make it what we had before, which was 81. That's a happy integer. Now, what I did was I created an object called num1. Henceforth, I can use num1 along with all of the integer functions like toString or whatever else happens to be in the integer class. Question number 17. Write a line of code to print out, "We went to the movies to see Spider-Man." Now, this is pretty straightforward, except Spider-Man is the name of a movie, which means we'd put it in quotes. But you can't put quotes inside of quotes because quotes indicate the end of quotes. It's one of those little catch-alls. But there's a way we can do that using escape characters. So I'm going to use my class system.out.println. There's my method. I'm going to put in some, and I'm going to do this. We went to the movies to see, and here I want to put a quote, but to do that I've got to do a backslash. That's an escape character. Then I can do my quote. Same thing if I want to use it again, and then I'll go ahead and put my end quote. So there are we talked about several escape characters. \T, which is a tab. \N, which is a new page. Or a new line, actually. Page. \quote, which we saw up there, which was a quote. \apostrophe, which is an apostrophe. And my favorite, \\, which is a backslash. Just in case you want to print a backslash in there, that's what you got to do. Question 18. Create two variables with the values of 4 and 5, then write an if, else if, and else statement to compare them for less than, greater than, or equal to with the appropriate output statements. So longest code I'm going to write today is here. So let's do it. First thing is I'm going to make a method. Or actually, I'm just going to write the variables because I'll run out of space here if I make the method. So I've got two variables. It's 4 and 5. That's ints, obviously. So int num1 equals 4. Int num2 equals 5. Now I'm going to do my if statements. So I'm going to start with if. If, I put in parentheses, I'm looking for my condition. So if num1 is greater than num2, and a block of code. If it's greater than, I'm going to send an outprint message. System.out.println the first number is larger. I don't care what you write out here. Ooh, look at that. There I am. I'm one key off there as I'm pressing the buttons. The first number is larger. Boom. Kind of a low-end message. I close my curly brace. I go to my else if. So it checks if first, then I go to else if. Else if still requires a condition. It works just like an if statement, except it doesn't reset everything. So this one's simple. If num2 is greater than num1, I just reversed the whole thing there. Then I'm going to do a system out print. System.out.println the second number is larger. Close that. Curly brace. Whoops, wrong way. And my last thing is an else statement. So else means I can have if, and then I can have multiple else ifs, and the very last thing it do, in fact, is an else. Else doesn't require a condition. It's just curly brace, move on. So else, then I do a system out print. Both numbers are the same. Now, normally I'd put my curly brace down below, but I've run out of space, so I put my curly brace. So it's going to run through all three numbers and check them out. It hits first one, it checks if num1's bigger. If it is, it says so. Then it says an else if, which means it's a case. Now, if num1 was bigger, it would not test anything else. So then it goes to number 2. If num2 is bigger, then it prints out. And if that one's true, it won't run anything else. And the last thing it do is kick out that say they're the same. Well, that's the end of the third page and probably our shortest video. I'll see you in a few for the next one.